Hi, Steve Cobb here. I want to talk a little bit today about how to arrange your photos of your shoes on eBay. We're looking at a listing of one of my Converse All-Stars, and it's already arranged pretty much the way I like it right now. So that it starts with the set shot that I described yesterday in my video. And it was shot very much the same way. You can see there's the edge of the glass plate that the shoes are resting on. One is facing forward, one's facing the opposite direction. Let me make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it more clearly. Okay. Again, it's resting on the glass plate, so it's elevated about 6 inches off the tabletop, the white cloth, so that the shadow the shoe is casting are diffused in different directions, but none of them are touching the shoe, either shoe. Of course, the reflection is rather pronounced because of the polka dot pattern on the shoes. And this is the main shot, sometimes called the gallery shot, or the I call it the set shot. This is the second shot. This is a side shot, but the shoes I'm actually shooting down, photographing downward onto the shoes, which are laying on their side on the glass plate, which again keeps the shadows from touching the shoes. Otherwise, there's a shadow over there, and so the shadows are spread out so that they don't bunch up, so to speak, underneath the shoes. Another side shot. And this is the shot that I call in the heel. And by the way, my shots on when I'm photographing shoes, the shots are all standardized, so that I take basically the same shot for all shoes. The reason I take this shot is to show the inside of the heel, to show that it's nice and clean in there, so that the potential buyer can be comfortable that they're going to be putting their foot into a shoe that's not nasty. And that's the only purpose of this shot, to reassure the buyer. This is the overhead shot to show the entire shoe from directly above. And the reason I developed this shot, not that I'm the only one that's doing the shot, but many companies put their logo, their name of their company, inside on the insole, and so that's to show off the insole. This is the toe shot. Again, the toe on these shoes is up a bit, and so if the shoes were resting directly on the table, there'd be a really large dark shadow right in here, which, aside from being distracting, it optically prevents. It doesn't really prevent. It inhibits a person from being able to tell the edge of the shoe, where the shoe ends and the table begins, because it's too dark. It's a dark zone. But by having it elevated and the separation of the shadow from the shoe, you can see exactly the edge of the shoe. There is no question where is the edge of the shoe. Now, in a standardized shoe shape like this, it might not be a question to the viewer, but for other types of shoes, it can be. Especially have like a platform clog that's it's got a very dark material that the platform's made out of. You might not be able to tell exactly where the platform ends and the table begins. I always do a close-up of the size. It's I mean, when you do a listing, you're actually typing the size in mostly 3 places. In the headline, you've got the size there, you've got the size in the specifics, and you probably have the size, if you're like me, in the description. But you could have it wrong, and people feel reassured if you show them a photo of the size. There's other advantages. If somebody's in the UK or in Europe, or perhaps in China, they could still rest assured that they're seeing the actual size for their nation. Because we tend to focus on the U.S. sizes, and so in our descriptions and and in the specifics. But it also has other information. It's got the factory that the thing was made of, and the style code and the color codes and things like that, which most people won't care about, but some people do. Some people, it's make or break for them. And the bottom of the shoe is a very important shot because it lets people know how much, wear the shoe has suffered. This one's in pretty good shape. And many times the company name and sometimes the size is on the bottom. That's the case here. Converse All-Star 4.5 is the size. And this is the heel shot. Yeah, on this particular shoe, these heel plates seem to be the most worn out. But again, the shadow is completely not touching the shoe. And this I call the high front shot. I usually stand up to take this shot immediately after I've taken the toe shot. And this is also a set shot. I've gotten in the habit lately of taking two set shots. One with the shoes facing in opposite directions, and one in a more traditional pose, like this pose. Which brings me to the arranging of the photos. Let's see, let me go to a different one. Okay, these photos I have not arranged. I've just dumped them all in. And this is the location you'd put the set shot, this right here. But that's actually the set shot. So I want to move it over there. You just drag and drop. It's very easy to do. In fact, let me make that a little bigger so you can more easily see it. If you hold the control button down and hit plus and minus, your screen will, your browser will get larger or smaller. Plus is, of course, it gets larger. And if you want to put it back to normal size, you hit Control 0. Anyway, these are the 12 photos that you can display for free on eBay. And all you have to do is drag and drop a photo to move it around to a different location. They are in this order, and typically it will show the first six photos under your photo. Let's see how to describe this. When you go to a page that is for the selling of one item, your one item, it will display one picture large and a set of pictures below it, 6 of them, of the 12 potential pictures that you can put up there. 6 of them will be in small thumbnails, and as you run your cursor across them, it will place them, whichever one you're pointing at, up in the big picture. And if you click on it, then of course it'll stay. Well, anyway, what I'm getting at is these first 6 are the 6 that are shown when someone lands on your page. And the other 6, if you have 12 pictures, the other 6 are not shown at below your main picture. So they have to click on an arrow to get to see them, which means that you want these 6 to be presumably your best shots. You want to lead, which it'll display by default. You want to lead with your set shot. That's this shot in this case. It's the two shoes pointing into opposite directions to show off the shoe basically from multiple directions and multiple angles, and especially in this case to show that it's got a wide heel. Then I usually like the side-to-side shots next, but that may just be me. You may have your own preference. If it's a famous name, then I'll put the vertical shot, if I can grab a hold of it. Okay. I'll put the vertical shot next, after the main one, and then you do these others. Basically, you want to put what you figure is your best shots, your best foot forward, your best shots, you want to put them up front. The underside on this case is kind of worn, so I wouldn't really lead with that. And another consideration is, after they've looked at each of the first 6, they're going to stop on this photo. And I've been told that it's good for them to reach a stopping point on a photo that is particularly good, one that you want to linger in their mind. In which case that might be this one, or it might be this one. But which one it'll be will vary from shoe to shoe. Now, I have a habit of placing the size photo in this location, the 7th spot, because they're going to see all of these first, and then they're going to scoot the pictures over to see the next group of pictures, and I want them to start with that and end. Basically what I do is I put my least, the shot I like the least here, and then next here, and I put a shot at the very end, where the very last shot, a shot that I like, that I think will present the shoes in a good light, which might be this shot. Although the heel shot is actually kind of nice too. It's got great color, unusual style of heel, and so it too presents the shoes very well. Now, these are the shots that I did yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean in the previous video, in which case you didn't actually, you saw me taking the shots, but you didn't see the shots from the angle I was getting them. But these are those shots, that's a little crooked, that I actually took. Again, that's the toe shot. You notice the shadow is not touching the shoes. Now, I mentioned yesterday that it's not necessary to crop the photos, but that's actually not completely true. Most of the photos are good as they are. That shot and that shot, but that one has got some extra stuff in it, and so that shot I would actually crop. That one doesn't need it. That one I would take a little off the top. That one doesn't need it. That one doesn't need it. That one doesn't need it. And I would only use one of these two the size label shots. I take them both because sometimes there's a flaw, a tiny flaw, or an oddball reflection. There's a lot of reflections. That you can actually have a reflection in just the wrong place, where it makes it difficult to read, or an important point of the picture difficult to read. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Also, press the little bell icon next to the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified when I upload my next videos. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye for now.